Welcome to Wisdom Vault 365, where timeless philosophies meet modern life. In the fast-paced rhythm of today's society, people relentlessly pursue success, fame, and material wealth. Yet, this endless race often leaves many feeling stressed, anxious, and disconnected from their inner selves. Amidst the chaos, the philosophy of Stoicism emerges as a calming force, offering a timeless method to cultivate mental resilience, seek inner peace, and live a life of purpose. Stoicism, rooted in ancient wisdom, remains remarkably relevant in the contemporary world. At its core lies the distinction between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. Instead of wasting energy on external circumstances, Stoics focus on mastering their own thoughts, emotions, and actions. This practice fosters a steady mind, unshaken by life's inevitable uncertainties and adversities. Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus left behind profound teachings on enduring hardship, maintaining virtue, and finding tranquility amid turmoil. Far from being a rigid doctrine, Stoicism is a practical way of life, guiding individuals toward simplicity, self-discipline, and alignment with nature. By letting go of fleeting desires and anchoring themselves in essential values, practitioners realize that happiness comes not from accumulation, but from contentment and gratitude. In an era marked by constant change and pressure, applying Stoic principles helps nurture calmness, compassion, and inner freedom. The Stoic journey is a path to self-mastery, a life governed not by external events, but by reason and mindful appreciation of the present moment. Let us explore the core tenets of Stoicism and how integrating this ancient wisdom into daily life can empower us to build a resilient spirit and discover meaning amidst the ever-flowing currents of the modern world. The essence of Stoicism is the cold clarity between what belongs to us and what never will. Epictetus once declared, "Freedom begins the moment we understand this. Some things are within our control and some are not. Your thoughts, your actions, your will, these are yours. They are the only battleground worth fighting for. Everything else, fortune, reputation, the fleeting judgments of others, is nothing but smoke passing through your fingers." To cling to what lies beyond your reach is to invite suffering. To let go is to be free. If someone insults you, their words are wind, empty noise carried by forces outside your command, but your reaction, that is the fortress no one can breach. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You are not disturbed by events, but by your opinion of them, and you have the power to discard that opinion at any moment. Loss, failure, betrayal, these are the shadows cast by life, indifferent and inevitable. You cannot stop them, but you can stand unmoved beneath their weight." Seneca reminds us, "A man suffers more in his mind than in reality." The pain is real, but the suffering is always a choice. To live as a Stoic is to walk the narrow path, eyes fixed on what can be done, mind sharpened against what cannot. Right thoughts, right actions, indifference to everything else. This is how a soul becomes untouchable. This is what it means to conquer oneself in a world built to break you. To let go is an act of rebellion in a world obsessed with possession. Both Stoicism and minimalism teach that the things we cling to, wealth, status, the approval of others, are nothing but shadows. They glitter from afar, but slip through our fingers the moment we try to hold them. The more we chase them, the further we drift from ourselves. Epictetus wrote, "Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desires, but by eliminating them. Minimalism asks, how many objects do you truly need to live? Stoicism asks, how many desires do you truly need to be free? A life stripped of excess is not emptiness. It is precision. What remains is what truly matters. The book you reach for each morning, the few possessions that serve a purpose, the thoughts you choose to carry. But the hardest weight to abandon is the need to be seen, the hunger for validation. A minimalist room means nothing if the mind still craves applause. That is why the Stoic goes deeper, not only discarding objects, but severing every invisible thread that ties his worth to the eyes of others. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, ambition means tying your well-being to what others say. Self-indulgence means tying it to what you feel. But serenity means tying it to your own actions. To walk this path is to become lighter, not because the world gives you less, but because you need less from it. Both philosophies lead to the same quiet truth. Nothing belongs to you except your mind. And once you master that, nothing can ever be taken away. Resilience is the path to inner freedom in the philosophy of Stoicism. Failure is not an enemy to be feared. It is a crucible where the self is forged. The world breaks all men, but only those who endure emerge sharpened. Epictetus wrote, "It is not what happens to you that disturbs you, but how you perceive it." When misfortune strikes, the Stoic does not curse fate nor drown in self-pity. Instead, he asks, what lesson waits for me here? Losing a job may shatter the fragile mind, but for the Stoic, it is simply another test, a chance to cultivate stillness, to strip away illusions, and to seek a new path. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the obstacle is not in the way. The obstacle is the way. Resilience is not born in comfort, but in confrontation. It is built in the silent battles. When the mind chooses discipline over despair, when the heart refuses to bend beneath the weight of suffering, life will never be perfect. To wait for ease is to wait forever. The Stoic does not demand a softer world. He hardens himself against the one that is. Seneca wrote, "Love whatever fate brings you, for it is written for your growth." To accept what cannot be changed is not surrender. It is power. Each day spent mastering your own mind is a step toward unbreakable freedom. In the end, storms will come for every man, but only the one who commands his own thoughts will stand unshaken, while the rest are swept away. The transformation of thought and the practice of gratitude form the foundation of inner peace in Stoic philosophy. Life unfolds only in the present, yet the mind drifts endlessly between the ghosts of the past and the shadows of what may come. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present. He who lives in the present lives forever." By anchoring the mind to this moment, the Stoic breaks free from unnecessary suffering. Happiness is not some distant prize. It has always been here, buried beneath the noise of desire and fear. It waits in the simplest things, the breath rising and falling, the sunlight crossing the room, the weight of existence held briefly in stillness. Daily journaling was a ritual among the Stoics, a silent dialogue with the self. On the blank page, they asked, what good visited me today? How have I mastered my thoughts? Where can I improve? Epictetus advised, let each night find you reviewing your day. What weakness did I overcome? What virtue did I practice? What could I have done better? This practice sharpens self-awareness and reminds us that every small victory is a step toward freedom. But gratitude, for the Stoic, is not only the recognition of what is pleasant, it is the willingness to welcome even suffering as a gift. The wise man does not curse misfortune. He whispers to himself, I am grateful for this pain, for it will teach me patience. I am grateful for this loss, for it will forge my strength. Seneca wrote, a wise man does not complain of his lot. He makes every misfortune a tool for growth. Gratitude is not a fleeting emotion, it is a weapon, a rebellion against despair. To see beauty in what is broken, to turn hardship into fuel, to walk through the storm with calm eyes and an unshaken heart. It is this quiet acceptance, this unyielding gratitude, that allows the Stoic to find serenity, even as the world around him burns. Reason is the torch that guides the Stoic through the chaos of life. Human beings are ruled not by events, but by the stories they tell themselves. Fear, anger, and despair. These are not born from what happens, but from how the mind chooses to interpret it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you are troubled by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your judgment of it, and you have the power to change that judgment. When faced with criticism, the Stoic does not lash out or crumble beneath wounded pride. Instead, he pauses. He asks, is this criticism true? If so, I will correct myself. If not, it is nothing but noise, powerless to touch what I truly am. Reason breaks the chains of impulse. It teaches the mind to observe rather than react, to stand still while the world stirs around it. Epictetus reminds us, it is not events that disturb us, but our thoughts about them. To lose wealth is a small death for most men, but the Stoic sees beyond the illusion. Money comes and goes. Its absence does not diminish his character. He whispers to himself, what is lost was never mine. By training the mind to see things as they are, not as desire paints them, the Stoic dismantles the power the world holds over him. Day by day, the practice of reason sharpens the mind into a weapon. It becomes the wall that no insult can breach, no misfortune can topple. Through reason, the Stoic walks through storms with steady eyes, untouched by the madness of the world, carrying within him a fortress that nothing can break. Empathy and kindness are the highest expressions of the Stoic mind, born when one understands that all human beings are threads woven into the same fragile tapestry. Stoicism does not preach cold detachment. It teaches us to walk among others with compassion, to see in every stranger a reflection of our own struggles. Marcus Aurelius wrote, men are made for each other. Either help them or at least do not harm them. Empathy is not pity. It is the silent recognition that the battles waged within another heart are not so different from our own. When faced with cruelty or injustice, the Stoic does not meet fire with fire. He asks instead, if they act this way, it is because they know no better. How often have I too been blind to my own faults? Epictetus reminds us, every man is fighting a battle you cannot see. To understand this is to disarm anger. It is to see others not as enemies, but as fellow travelers, stumbling, learning, breaking, just as we are. When a friend grieves the loss of a job or collapses beneath life's burdens, the Stoic does not judge their weakness. He listens, he stands beside them and says, I know your pain, but this too is an opportunity to grow stronger. Kindness is not weakness. It is the quiet strength of one who has mastered himself. Seneca wrote, live for others if you wish to live for yourself. To serve others is to sharpen one's own virtue, In lifting another, we rise. Through empathy, the Stoic builds not only a life of harmony, but a fortress of character. Even in a world that devours itself, he chooses compassion. Even when the world deserves his hatred, he offers understanding. For to move through this life with a heart both unyielding and kind is the greatest victory of all. In the end, the strongest heart is the one that breaks quietly and still chooses kindness. Perseverance and forward motion are the silent virtues of the Stoic. For no path to wisdom is ever paved without struggle. Life is a series of obstacles, each one a test not of the body, but of the mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every hardship is a question whispered by fate. Will you stop, or will you endure? The Stoic does not fear failure, for he knows that failure does not diminish what he is. It reveals what he can become. Epictetus teaches, "Do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and you will find peace." When goals crumble and plans unravel, the Stoic does not curse destiny. He asks instead, "What can I learn from this? How can I rise from the ashes, stronger than before?" Perseverance is not the absence of pain, but the quiet refusal to surrender beneath its weight. Seneca wrote, "No wind is favorable to the man who does not know where he is sailing." To endure is not to drift blindly, but to walk forward, one step at a time, even when the path is shrouded in darkness. Every setback is a lesson, every scar a mark of growth. The Stoic accepts suffering not as punishment, but as the raw material from which strength is forged. He knows that the world owes him nothing, and yet, through discipline and resilience, he carves his own path. With each small act of endurance, the mind becomes unshakable. With each fall and rise, he steps closer to the only victory that matters, mastery of the self. The fire that burns you is the same fire that hardens steel. Walk through it. Detachment from external outcomes is the silent pillar of serenity in Stoic philosophy. Life unfolds in chaos, a relentless tide of forces beyond human control. The opinions of others, the fruits of our labor, the twists of fate, all lie outside the fragile borders of our influence. Epictetus reminds, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." To anchor happiness in results is to surrender the mind to the mercy of the uncontrollable, breeding disappointment, anxiety, and endless craving. The Stoic learns to sever the mind from outcome, binding it instead to action alone. When preparing for an interview, one can study, rehearse, and carry oneself with calm resolve, yet the final decision belongs to unseen forces. If rejection arrives, the Stoic does not curse fate, nor mourn what was never his. He whispers, "I did what was within my power." The rest was never mine to claim. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do what is right. Let the outcome follow as it will." This surrender is not weakness. It is the highest act of wisdom. To let go is not to yield, but to rise above the illusion of control. The Stoic finds freedom not by bending the world to his will, but by mastering the only kingdom that ever belonged to him, his own mind. He walks forward, unburdened, unshaken. The storm rages around him, but it will never touch what lies within. Daily practice is the silent forge where Stoic principles are tempered into action, shaping the soul, one moment at a time. Stoicism is not a philosophy of idle contemplation, but a discipline of living, an art honed through repetition beneath the weight of each passing day. Epictetus taught, no day should pass without self-examination. Self-reflection is the mirror where the mind confronts its flaws, a ritual to strip away delusion and align thought with virtue. Through nightly introspection, the Stoic whispers to himself, what have I done well today? Where have I faltered? How can I become better tomorrow? Gratitude journaling becomes a quiet rebellion against the restless hunger of desire. Each evening, the Stoic etches small blessings onto paper, not out of blind optimism, but to sharpen his vision for what is already enough. Marcus Aurelius wrote, when you arise in the morning, give thanks for the privilege of being alive, for the power to think, to love, to work. Yet gratitude alone is not the end. Action must follow. Kindness is the Stoic's silent prayer. A gentle word, a helping hand. Small acts ripple into the world, binding the self to the greater whole. To serve others is not weakness, but the highest form of strength. Seneca reminds, live for others if you wish to live for yourself. Through daily rituals, reflection, gratitude, and compassion, the Stoic does not seek perfection, but progress. Each dawn is a battlefield. Each deed a chance to carve virtue into the marrow of his being. By mastering the unseen battles within, he slowly becomes the person he was always meant to be, calm, resolute, and unbreakable. Stoicism is not a distant philosophy, bound to dusty pages of the past. It is a compass, guiding us to live with strength, serenity, and purpose amidst the chaos of life. By training the mind through reason, cultivating a gratitude, enduring hardship with quiet perseverance, and practicing virtue each day, we awaken an unshakable calm within. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus is not confined to ancient scrolls. Their words echo across centuries, lighting the path for those who seek clarity in a restless world. If these timeless teachings have resonated with you, if you are ready to embark on the journey of self-mastery, subscribe to Wisdom Vault 365 and walk with us on the path toward inner wisdom. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on Stoicism. And together, let us build a community that spreads resilience, reason, and compassion in a world that desperately needs it. Remember, life is not defined by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond. Do what is right. Let the rest unfold as it will. Until we meet again.